Hydrogen is just an absolute laser. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of the Loft Discs Beta Solid Hydrogen. I have the stock version and the Founders Edition. I'll be throwing 3 different ones out in the field. Thank you very much to Loft Discs for sponsoring this video. They sent me a pair of the prototypes in both plastics, both the Alpha Solid that we originally tested and reviewed, and then they later on sent me these as well. And then Andy was kind enough to hook me up with one of these beautiful vanilla bean stock runs as well for my collection, because, spoiler alert, as soon as I started throwing the Beta Solid prototype, the Founders Edition, it went straight into my bag, and it's just an undeniable disc that flies amazing. We're going to get into all that stuff, so stay tuned. Let's take a look at these first of all. Loft discs, I love the simplicity and the clean stamp on these. It's not a ton of information, nor is it like really gaudy or just kind of over the top. Really simplistic and clean, simple stamps that I really hope they continue to use. I think it kind of sets them apart on the market to have such a simple design, but it's really effective. The flight numbers 1, 2, 0, and 0 on these, and same markings on this guy, basically identical, except it doesn't have the Founders Edition marking on there. 1, 2, 0, 0. I would say it could probably be a 3 on these, because once you get them spinning, they do float for quite a while, and they hold the line so well that it almost makes it feel like they have more glide because they don't fade. So like it kind of stretches out the float a little bit due to the fact that they really don't fade much at all. These, I wouldn't be too upset if there was a -1 in turn for these particular hydrogens in the Beta Solid plastic. Now, once again, as I said, I have a full review that you can find on the channel. I'll put it in the end screen of the Alpha Solid, which is more of like a Star ESP type premium plastic. But those didn't have quite this nice dead flat top that these have. See that really nice flat top? And these are much more firm. They have like no real flexibility to them. They feel quite a bit like a Latitude Zero Hard plastic, but maybe a little firmer than that even. They have very low flexibility, as you can see, and they are very unique in design. The closest disc you're going to find to these, and the disc that I compared them to in the Alpha Solid version of this review, was the Rattler. But you can see there's a very kind of old school frisbee type shape to this disc. But what's interesting about Loft discs, if you're not familiar, they're from Denmark. They use computer software that they designed to input kind of specifications for the shape of a disc, and they're able to simulate flight footage and like the flight paths of the discs before they even start to get into the prototyping phase. So these were the end result of trying to attempt to make one of the most neutral, straight flying, slowest discs on the market, and I think they nailed it. I mean, these really get closer to what I was picturing based on the early information and all the stuff that I heard about these than the Alpha Solid did. The Alpha Solid was a little bit more stable for us, and it was still very neutral for sure, but you had to put a little bit more speed on them. These seem to have just the ability to just flip up that little bit for my arm speed that makes them super useful. So you got a good look at the design on these. The really pretty vanilla bean, they call this, a little white with the little black and blue speckles. Really good looking disc for sure. And I believe these are all, 170 plus. I don't even weigh them. I don't even care. They fly so good, I could not care less. They're in my bag, and I'm throwing them pretty often. So, as we talked about the Rattler, here is an old D Rattler that we can put it up next to just for a quick comparison. And you're going to see that they are, in fact, quite similar. But the Hydrogen is just that little bit more beveled. Like it has just a little bit more of a curl under here, and there's a little bit more meat to the rim. Like in this kind of dimension here, there's a little bit more meat to it, and the shoulder on the top is a little bit different as well. So it's a little bit tricky to line this up to really show it to you guys, but hopefully you're getting a sense that they are quite similar, but they also have some distinct differences that do go a long way. I've still never thrown this D Rattler. I have a full review on the ESP ones if you want to see that. Not my favorite disc by any means, the ESP ones. but I've never actually thrown these. I bought a pair of these years ago for me and Andy to do like a one-on-one battle. Leave a like and a comment down below if you want to see that happen. We might do like a one disc only rattler challenge. And then another disc that I'm complementing the hydrogen with in my bag is the Keystone. Now the Keystone's a little bit faster and it is a little bit more inherently flippy and it has a lot more glide. But other than that, they kind of fill similar roles. You're going to see the Keystone is definitely shallower. It's got much more curve under and bevel to the rim. Right, it's got that kind of flat underside edge. Keystone's a great flyer, great beginner disc as well. A little bit more naturally flippy, much more glide. So if I want to throw something that will stand up and ride more, or that will float for longer before it drops, the Keystone goes really far, almost like kind of mid-rangey on those longer approach shots. So they complement each other quite well. So once again, the flat top is what really makes these work. The Alpha Solids were a little bit more domed on the top, and they had a little bit more of a frisbee feel because of that. These with that flat feel under the thumb, really, really nice. So let's take a look at some flight footage on these. You've already seen a little bit, but you're going to see that they just hold the line extremely well. On hyzer, committed throughout your throw, it will fly on hyzer all the way to the ground. Same with anhyzer. It never comes out of anhyzer. If you have it turned over, it will hold it all the way to the ground, and not in like a turn and burn roller kind of way, but in a soft pan that just lands to the right and lands flat. These also have very low ground play because that rim is so kind of vertical up and down that it just grabs the ground and does not skip or scoot very far at all, which is a great attribute for an approach disc. And that's what I'm using this thing for principally. I'm throwing it off the tee at times, and you can just throw lasers with it off the tee, which I really like in the woods, shorter technical shots, that sort of thing. If I need to throw something that will not flip and will not fade, even on a longer hole, just to try to play for position, it could be a great disc off the tee for that. But I'm loving it for layups, just automatic layup disc. You know, you can just throw straight at the basket. It flips up just that little bit that I need to work with my form, right? You guys know, if you've been paying attention to the channel and my kind of throwing style, I always throw with a little bit of a hyzer. It's just more comfortable for me in my body shape, the way my power pocket kind of develops in my throw. It helps for me to have it on that little bit of hyzer to pop it out with speed. These kind of auto-correct, where they kind of pop up just that little bit right out of the hand, and then from there, they settle into their line, and they do not veer off the line at all. One of the most point-and-shoot neutral discs you're going to find. Now, I'm sure people use these for putters inside the circle and otherwise. I just really can't connect with them very well as a putter. You know, they're very neutral as well, but for my arm and the way I swing my putts, it just doesn't really work for me. I've tried it a little bit, and I can connect from short range like I can with just about any putter. Outside of that, it gets a little bit tricky. I like something that has a little bit more fade, a little bit more speed to it in my putting, but for approaches and short range tee shots that just need to hold angle, these things are just amazing. So easy, so intuitive. I could continue on and ramble more about these discs, but you guys get the idea. So I will continue to throw these and let you know how they're flying for me in my next In the Bag video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you once again to Loft Discs for helping me out, sending me out plastic. We also have the Boreum in the testing queue. I have some videos on that already, but we'll be doing a full review of that this summer, so stay tuned. Thanks to all of you for your continued support. Over 14,000 subscribers as of the time sitting and recording this video, and we're also creeping up on 300 disc reviews. We're into the final 10. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Thank you very much to the Disc Golf Nerd Patreon support team as well. You guys are amazing, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon. Cheers.
It's gonna go in though. It's good.
Money.
I pretend I was trying to score goals.